Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. At this time, it's a distinct pleasure and honor to introduce to you a professional speaker who comes to us today to demystify all those common folks that we unfortunately deal with from time to time. We're a community here of buyers and sellers, but if there's one commonality that we all share in common, that came from the Department of Redundancy Department. Sorry. If there's one commonality that we all share, unfortunately, we do encounter some folks that are a challenge to deal with, and here to demystify those folks is Jack Agati. Please give a nice welcome to Jack. Jack?
Thank you, Bob. I always find podiums rather intimidating, and I have a tendency to usually trip over them, so I usually don't use them if I can possibly avoid that. First, I'd like to thank Bob for that kind introduction. I've met him now, well, for about an hour before we began and on the telephone, and all of a sudden I realized, excuse me, in the conversations we've had, there are some other things he could have said, and I do appreciate you, Bob, that you haven't said them, so it makes it a lot easier. And I'd also like to thank Sarah and the organization for inviting me to be here. What I'd like to do, though, is to kind of right up front say, if you're here to get information about things like win-win, mediation, compromise, negotiation, you know all that stuff already. And there's no reason for me to continue to even try to build upon it. What I would like to do, though, is I would like to offer for your thoughts and considerations this morning some hints, tips, and ideas on dealing with people that go beyond being just difficult. When you think about it, we all have difficult people in our lives. Some of us, we work with them. Some of us, they're our relatives. We won't get into that. And some of them may be our kids. We all have difficult people in our lives. And for the most part, when you think about it, we manage them pretty well. We're allowed to continue to coexist, and things work well and stuff like that. But every now and then, we run into a person that goes beyond being difficult. And I think when that happens, we have to sit back and say, what am I going to do with this individual in this situation? It's interesting, you know, like we manage our health, we manage our finances. But if in fact you have a health crisis, or if you have a financial crisis, you find yourself all of a sudden getting into a different mode of action. We've got to deal with that issue. We've got to deal with that crisis. And I think we have to bring that same sense of urgency to dealing with beastly people, what I call beastly people. Now, let me put this in the context of what it is. I just